afternoon and welcome to this edition of Voices from Our Schools. I'm your host, Kimberly Stender, and I welcome you to today's show. On the program, we have two members of the Amherst Lions Club and also the Leo Club, which is the student organization for the Amherst Lions Club. So I would like to introduce them now to you and learn a little bit about what they do in our community. So, Todd Cromack. Hello, Todd.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome, and thank you for joining us. You're
pleasure.
The president of the Amherst Lions Club.
That's correct, yeah.
Which is a newer organization in town.
Yep.
Actually a spin-off from a larger organization.
Yes.
And you took the initiative to get this going here in our community.
Yep.
And you've done many, many, many great things.
Thank you.
I can't wait to talk about all of them.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Emma Jo, you are a current high school student here in Amherst, and you have become this amazing student leader force of nature. And you have truly propelled this club, the Leo Club, to where it is today. And I'm really excited to learn from your perspective what you've accomplished and what you hope to accomplish in the future. So, I thank you both for being here, and I know our community is really going to be interested in what you have to say, and perhaps you can garner some new members from this program.
It'd be great.
It would be great.
Awesome.
So, Todd, let's start with you. You grew up in town. You went to Amherst High School.
Amherst High School, class of '79, and I went off to college and spent many years in Boston, where I first became a Lion out in Boston area. I was out there all for about 15 years, where I was joined the Lions Club, and then I moved back in here, this area, in 1999, and joined the Northampton Lions Club. But the reason I started the club here in this town was because there was a Lions Club, and as a little boy, I remember it being at the town fair and getting their hamburgers and hot dogs. But when I came back after the years of absence, the club had disbanded, it had gone, and my getting really back involved in the Northampton Lions in the community, I wanted to bring it back to Amherst, and I felt the town needed Lions, what we offer in services and programs, and it was took me 3 years to get up and running, but we have a very flourishing, growing club that's done a lot for the schools, it's done a lot for the community, and I'm proud that I'm a part of it, and we've been able to make an impact and a difference in this town.
You have, absolutely. Yeah. And we should remind our viewers that the Lions Club is an international organization.
It is.
It's not just based here in New England or the United States, it's all over the world.
We have 1.5 million members in over 200 countries. The Amherst Lions Club is one of 40 clubs in the 4 counties of Western Massachusetts. We were actually chartered last year, and but every club, whether it's Amherst, Hadley, Northampton, Williamsburg, every club is very unique to its autonomous to the community that it's serving. So what might be the needs of an Amherst community, you go to another community in the state and they have specific needs at that club. So what's the beauty of the club, we're supported and backed by an the largest service organization internationally, but more importantly, each club is autonomous to this community that it's serving.
And I imagine as you go forward, as the club becomes larger, you're going to discover more needs in our community.
We're at the point now where we're getting requests from a lot of organizations, looking for donations and support and help, and that's always a sign that the club is making an impact in this community when you have the services that are needed are approaching the club. So we're very happy.
And your parents have been a big part of this too.
Yes, they actually, and it's not, some people say a lot of the reputation is the Lions Club is a lot of older members, but we have members that are in our 70s. We have a member in our Amherst Lions Club that's 90 years old, and he was a member of the original club before it disbanded, and he wanted to, even at the age of 90, he wanted to get back into participating, so he's a lifetime member. So it's all ages, it's all fun. Obviously, we've got some youth, and we really trying to make a big difference here in the town. Both of us, both the clubs.
That's true. So the spin-off of the Lions Club is this unbelievable Leo's Club.
Yes.
And it's geared for younger members.
Yep.
Middle school through high school?
Yep. There's actually two different kinds of Lions International has two different kinds of Leo clubs. There's an Alpha Club and an Omega Club. An Alpha Club is for ages 11 to 18.
Okay.
And then the Omega Club is from ages 18 to 25. So depending if you've got that population of students that are out of the high school but still want to do a community service group but aren't ready to join the town club, they can have that type of Leo club. We also have, which aren't too popular but I think are gaining, we have Cub clubs, which are for 1st through 5th, 6th graders.
The younger ones.
The really younger kids. So I see that, like to see that in the horizon in Amherst, but it's a lot more work, and it's a lot more getting 4th, 5th, and 6th graders involved is a lot more challenging, but it is out there. So.
And that's a story in itself.
Yes, it will be.
So about a year and a half ago, maybe even closer to 2 years ago, on the day of the tornado here in Western Mass, Todd blew into our office at the superintendent's, and he had these great ideas, and he sat down with myself and our superintendent, Maria Garrick, and kind of outlined what he wanted to do in our schools. And Emma Jo, I believe that's where you came in, because he wanted to create this Leo club, and he wanted to start at the middle school. And I think much to his delight and surprise, so many of your classmates came forward wanting to be a part of this amazing service organization. So could you tell me a little bit about what attracted you to wanting to be a Leo?
Well, I've always liked community services. I've always said if I could adopt all the kids in the world. I was going to do something to change. And I've always looked up to people who have made a change. And, you know, my family, it's in my parents' genes, my dad's side, to have muscular dystrophy, which is a disability. And so I've grown up seeing my sister not liking having a crooked smile. And so, and my dad stumbling and not struggling to walk, and always every time he falls wondering, what if he doesn't get back up on his feet again? What would happen? And so it's always been there that I want to help people because I've seen so many people struggle, and I've struggled myself. So it's like I've always thought if I give back, it's kind of a present to myself because I've struggled a lot during school and just in general. So it kind of made me feel like I was giving myself a gift to know that I've done something.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And what a mission you have in your life.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you, Emma Jo. So when you heard about this Leo Club, I know you immediately wanted to sign up. And what were some of the first activities that the club at the middle school did?
Well, at first it was really getting to know our club and who was going to be there and who was to stay and who was to go. But most of the people didn't realize it was actually worth something. It wasn't, you didn't just join the club for publicity or anything. So our club really fast shrunk in size. And then from there, we started looking for projects to do because we looked like we had a solid group. And so we decided, why don't we go on a trip or somewhere that needs us first to kind of see what we're going to go out and do. So we went to Shriners Children's Hospital and read to the kids and played with the kids, which was a lot of fun in the long run, but at times it didn't really benefit the club because that's what many people assumed the club was, just going out and having fun and missing some of the school to do those things, when in reality there's a lot more behind it.
A lot of goodwill.
There's a lot more. So once again we kind of shrunk again because it was, people started seeing it. So it was kind of this first projects were really tests to see if you'd stay or not. And our club would keep on like getting 1 or 2 people after school to join us, and then they would go and then not come back the next week. Or so it was kind of a test to see if you'd pass or fail, and if you kept with it, you'd advance. And if you didn't, you dropped. So very soon our club was down to like 8 members, but started about 20 members. But it was always that if you stayed with the club, you knew you were getting benefits.
You had your core group, the ones who really wanted to make a difference, stayed.
Yeah, and even some of the people who said they were really staying didn't really stay.
Right, that happens.
And so the more people kind of started fading, but towards the end of the year, people were starting to fade and starting to see if they wanted to continue. So it's kind of hard going into this year because our club really lost everyone because now we were in high school.
Right.
And there was only about four of us that kept on coming back, and it wasn't hesitant. But it's always hard to keep a group because we've grown so much, yet we've shrunk in a certain sense.
Right.
And we've also learned that the smaller the group, the better, because you're less likely to lose your people.
That's true. That's true. And you know, that's a phenomenon that happens with any group. So don't think it's just for the Leos that this is happening. I see it in committees that I'm on. So just know that if you stick with it and you persevere, it's going to be successful. And I remember this time last year, even sooner, or actually earlier in the school year, we would hear all the announcements in the office of the superintendent. And I heard a lot about these penny wars. And I knew that the Leo Club was behind this. And I believe you raised a lot of money.
For the penny wars, we raised a decent amount of money.
You did. And then you went to Shriners, which was a beautiful, beautiful gesture of kindness and altruism. And you visited with these pediatric patients in Springfield. And you really brought a little seasonal and holiday joy to them. And then what I thought was really cool, you went to visit a Seeing Eye Dog Center where they train these dogs to
we saw the graduation for the people, and even though we didn't see the people getting trained with these dogs, but the fact it was really cool to look in and actually see the dogs that have worked so hard and these people who struggle so much. And it was kind of a combination, and it was like it was meant to happen, and you didn't need to see the steps in between to see it, but it was worth seeing a pairing be made.
Yes.
Because you saw the joy of people kind of come back that could have been hidden.
That's true.
Or the joy that they never got to really see.
That's great.
So.
And I know the Lions Club has a lot to do with vision and eyesight. So that was a nice trip. It kind of went hand in hand in what of the mission of the Lions Club and what your club was hoping to accomplish as well. And I may remind our viewers that in each school main office there are boxes that the Lions Club have put there. So if you have any old eyeglasses or sunglasses, anything prescription, you could visit our school offices and put them in. And then Todd and his colleagues come around and they collect them, and then you refurbish them and
ship them to third world countries and people. Yeah,
it's amazing. And then you have the iMobile.
The iMobile.
The iMobile's fun to work in.
And the iMobile comes always to the first day celebration, which happens in September, and that's always great to see it pull up. It's, you know, as you know, this huge camper. And I think, remember last year, all the Leos helped.
Yes, they did.
It's a unique experience because, you know, you've always had your pulse taken by someone else, or you've always had someone test your eyes. And I, being one person, always found it interesting. What would it be like if you were doing that? Would it be fun, you know, given that privilege to help someone?
Yes.
And then last year at the Welcome Back picnic, it was being able to do what I had always wanted to see, like always wanted to do, because I found those things fascinating and interesting, like always jealous of those people because I'd always want to try and do it. And I would joke around that I was going to be an eye doctor one day or something because it was helpful and I wanted to see it or try one of the tests and actually be the one giving them to help. So it was kind of fun knowing you were doing what I wanted to do off of that.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great experience. It is. And it's nice to be able to work with the older members of the club and see their commitment as well and know that this has carried through many years, and it's really a tradition.
Yes.
Yes.
And it seems like everyone, even in the Amherst Lions Club, is kind of like a family. I mean, you're a distant family, but everyone kind of knows each other well enough. I mean, Todd, your parents kind of feel like grandparents to a certain extent because the amount that they kind of give to they give you they're nice and they're caring and understanding. So it's like having this family that's not necessarily related to you, but has a certain closeness to it.
It's a nice feeling, isn't it?
And it makes you realize some more, because you're all doing the same mission. You're all trying for the same thing.
Yeah, it does. That's so true. That's so true. And you have a lot of great members in the community. And you've done a lot of programs in our schools. You did the Peace Poster at Wildwood, which was a huge success. Phenomenal.
That was, in fact, I realized after that was done, it was the largest participation of students in New England.
Wow. Of
all the Lions clubs in New England, that we're talking all the states with all the schools. There's never been that many participants wanting to participate in a program, which is so, you know, it's so,
it's a gift.
It's a gift, and you know, the challenge for us as the Lions is we had to judge, we had to pick one of 140 posters that would go on to a state level competition, which is very difficult because all the students had such great gifts. And how one student would interpret the theme, Imagine Peace was this year's theme, how one student would interpret it would be different than, I mean, every 140 of them were 140 different thoughts and concepts
got to
of
see
how
into people's minds on what they were exactly thinking.
And it was just really a phenomenal thing, and it's slated for next year, and we're hoping to expand it into the other elementary schools.
And our art teachers were?
Yep, the art teacher was right on board. I forget her name.
Julie Rivera.
Yep, she was like,
she's great.
We had she just was great with the whole thing, and we have Maria Elena Garcia was spearheading it for the club, and it was remarkable when I told other Lions across the state that I'm in contact with how many their jaws went down, because it's most schools will get maybe one or two participants, but we had 140 students, and according to Julie, kids were giving up their recesses to articulate for this poster.
Wow, and it was a beautiful exhibit.
Oh, a great exhibit at the Senior Center, and it was just a real good, everybody enjoyed it.
That's nice. So. And then aside from that, you also do the warm winter clothing drive at Crocker Farm and the snowboard and ski swap. And we do our famous PSA. We do all that. All crazy, but we do it. And then you painted the word welcome in 24 languages.
24 different languages.
Outside the middle school main entrance. So as students come in and parents and guardians and family members come in, they know that this is a place where everyone is welcome, no matter their culture, their background, and it's beautiful. I love walking through it every day and seeing it on the archway. So good work. And you did that on a very, very hot day.
Yeah.
2 very, very hot days in the summer.
I have to say, when you're painting, like, even though the people who were painting them were all had graduated and stuff, it was really helpful to know that you were helping someone else when they come into the school. Because we were all, and I've been at the middle school for a while, seeing as my mom works there, but still timid and scared to come to the school, and had a lot of anxiety. So I think it kind of makes you feel welcome before you've entered the building and seeing the teachers. So I think the fact that I was helping someone with something that almost everyone in the club faced was kind of like a gift you felt like you wish you had with you when you went through.
Well, no, you left a legacy now for every other class that enters through those doors in September when we open up, or August, who knows. But that's nice. That's so great. And then you do this famous thing called the dime toss at the Amherst Community Fair. And in a nutshell, Emma Jo, can you sum that up for me?
It's a huge board. It's about this big, or a bit bigger than the table. And it has all these circle rings on them. And if you land on a red circle, you get a small prize like this big. And if you land on the gray circle, which is the one in the exact middle of the board, you get a huge prize.
Nice. And I'm sure that's very popular.
And so it was a lot of fun working on it, because I was one of the people who was wearing a Lions costume walking around on hot days, which was hot, but it felt rewarding even though it was hot and not exactly the costume you want to be wearing around a fair.
That is true.
But it was a lot of, like, at one point we were walking around and I was not wearing the head because it was way too hot, but I was still wearing the rest of the costume and walking around the fair and saying, come to the dime toss, come to the dime toss. And I came back around and I didn't know behind me, but Todd, you looked at me and said, you have a chain behind you, Emma Jo. You have a chain behind me. And I didn't know what.
Of the dime toss.
These kids were like, falling
Emma
around.
Jo, way to go.
And I didn't realize it. So then I continued, and so they all were playing and kept on walking. And I had like teachers and like friend teachers just follow me around the fair and would stop at the dime toss and say, oh, how are you doing?
Isn't that nice?
And it was every time. I didn't realize how many people I'd brought in over. So every time, Todd, you looked at me like, what?
The Pied Piper.
Yes, and I think because of all of Emma Jo's hard work, she was awarded something extremely prestigious.
We should note that last year, after the first year of the Leo Club, there's 5 other Leo clubs in the Western Mass area, but Emma Jo won the Leo of the Year for the whole Western Massachusetts in front of all the Lions of our district, and the Amherst Pelham Leo Club won the Best Leo Club. So she's done great work, and I think she forgot to mention that the first year is always the hardest year for Leo Club, but the club now is growing back again. Good. And Emma and those core group of students are coming back.
Kelly Klemzek, Michaela Klemzek, and Kira LaCour.
It's now, they're so devoted to this service that they've come back and continued to grow it at the middle school. And now the club is up to, we've got a lot of new members that have joined only in the last like 2 or 3 weeks.
And UMass mentors now.
UMass,
you brought
Lions,
3 women over to meet me and to go through the proper channels, and that's going to take off as well.
Yeah, my idea was when I was to get the Lions back into this community was to really get everybody, all the ages, get it at the middle school, get it for the adults, get it for the students, because as time goes on, the Amherst community is going to see that we are a family, and we're all going to be working together to serve the need and of the people in the community. And it is a lifetime family thing, and I think Emma will find out if she goes through life, when she goes through high school and then on to college and things, she'll find that wherever she goes, she's going to run across someone that's a Lion.
Yes.
And
it's great knowing people.
Yeah, nice network.
Yeah.
And she's done a great. And one of the things I think where they decide they're going to do now project is they're going to collect stuffed animals for kids in need. That's going to be the next thing we're going to do. So
I have to say, even though the group keeps on growing and shrinking and stuff, but there's one aspect when I got the award that was I accomplished one of my goals. My goal was to look back for something I did on and be proud of it and feel like there was nothing to compare. And, you know, yes, every year I donate money to charities as a family, but just the fact that I felt like I had accomplished something that I thought was going to happen in more than 10 years, more than 20 years when I was little. And I thought, oh, that will happen when I'm 20. That will happen when I'm old.
When you're old. When you're 20. You keep thinking that way, Emma Jo.
And so it was kind of the fact that I kept on saying, oh, it's not going to happen soon, it's not going to happen soon, it's not going to happen. So I think that was part of the reason I was in such a shock when I found out, because it had always been in my mind that it was a possibility, but was way far out there. And I knew it was a possibility, but I always came back to that's going to happen later.
Wow. Well, you are certainly a young woman of potential. I only see great things happening for you in the near future, and then as you proceed in life, even beyond your 20s, when you're really old, beyond your 20s.
Yes.
But I want to just congratulate you and thank you so much, Emma Jo, and your classmates and your colleagues for doing such wonderful things in our community and our schools, and really bringing light to people, the work that you're doing. And you know, hopefully this show will maybe we can enlist some more members from you and support from the community. So I just want to thank you and wish that you continue this great work. I hope you come back and visit here on the show too.
I hope so.
Okay, and Todd, thanks for all your
You're
great
welcome.
work.
My
You
pleasure.
know, we really admire what you do, and we look forward to more projects with you and the Lions Club in our future.
Absolutely.
Of course there's going to be more.
Right. That's right.
I want to make sure.
You can count on it.
Right.
And I want to thank you, our viewers, for joining me today on Voices from Our School. Thanks so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.